Good afternoon, everybody. Nice to meet you all here. My name is Magnus Serinch. I believe I met you once in one great video. Do you remember that video? Last year there was one video. Oh, you haven't seen that. No worries. Next time, it's just a small icebreaker. I wanted to feel or hear maybe someone seen these guys over TV or somewhere. That's cool. Have you seen that person over there, Mr. Claudio Rivera, bachelor's programs director at Riga Business School? Yes, no? Yeah. He wanted to say some great words today for you guys. With applauses, please. Make some noise for him.
Thank you. It's so nice to see so many of you, right? I mean, we organized this in so little time. I don't think you came to see me. I think you came to see all these people that are going to try to inspire you today. And unfortunately, I can stay only 5 minutes because now I have to go to a committee. You know, there are people that are very successful, and there are people that are in committees. So I am on this second part. So these are those formal meetings where you take decisions about things. But we are going to take a beautiful, wonderful decision that is the graduation of a group of 33 undergraduate students that in a couple of weeks will not be anymore our students, and many other MBAs, so around 100 graduates that we are going to have in a couple of weeks from the Riga Business School. And when I see these people, Nikita is not our graduate, but I mean, maybe he might become in the future. But when I see our graduates that move forward and do quite a lot of stuff, I say, oh, that's good. So that means we did a good job, because this place is for a platform. But I'm not going to make any promotion about RBS today, but I was thinking, okay, doing an impact when you are 20. What can I tell you about that? Number one, it's not something that when you wake up and you are 40, I am a little bit more than 40, you wake up and you say, I want to do an impact. So what can I do today? And then you set up a paper and you said, I want to do an impact. So it's not going to happen like that. So you need to create the habit of doing an impact. And when I, knowing Laumann, knowing Chris Stubbs, and knowing Elvis for so long, I know what they have done even before coming to Riga Business School. So they have done a lot of things before. So they were very active in sports, in culture, in the school, in their families, in music. So these are people that were very, very active since they are very early teen years or childhood, and then they were doing an impact, you know. So what does it mean to do an impact? You know, taking care from your family members, taking care from your friends, taking care from your community, doing a little business in summer, doing some sports. So trying to do something good. When every day, since you are a child, since your age, you are not anymore a child, but since you are very young, you try to do good every day, every day, every day. When you are 40, you wake up and said, I want to do good, you know, because that's part of my nature. This is what I do all the time. So this is the first thing, I want to do good. The second rule is you observe. You observe what happened, you know. What happened with the people? The people in your house, the people, your students, your classmates, your teachers, the bars where you go. Observe the reality. So I want to do an impact. Which impact I have to do? Okay, what people need. If I don't observe, if I don't pay attention, I cannot do any good, right? So you need to observe. It's not easy to pay attention to other people because we live with ourselves 24 hours a day, so we pay attention to ourselves all the time. But to do an impact means I need to look at the other people because that's the impact that really matters. Second thing, you make questions. You question, I mean, why this person is thinking like that? I just come from a radio program where I was interviewed about the central exams. I think we need to abolish central exams. That's for another talk. But then the first things I do, I ask questions. Why kids need to do central exams? Why do we need the central exams? Who needs the central exams? You start to make questions, right? Third thing you have to do, networking. Talk about your questions. Talk about your observations. Talk about your ideas. So I went out from the radio, I met a member of the parliament, and I said, let's abolish the central exams. I mean, I just come from the radio program, Latvia's radio. I said, let's abolish the central exams. And he said, why do you think we need to abolish it? And I told my speech. And then I will continue talking about that. So you start to test your idea. You start to test your assumptions. You test your questions. You don't keep them to themselves. You talk to that. And then the fourth rule, you experiment. So when you have observed, you have made questions, you have network, and then you try something. Okay? So you start to try things. And all these people have tried a lot of things. They have tried music and projects, things with the student parliament in their school, things with their sport club, trying and trying and trying and trying and trying. When you are very young, trying costs nothing. When you are my age, it might cost a lot of money. I just lost in one project $80,000 because the conversion rate between euros and dollars is very bad. So we haven't done it quickly, and because the project is in euros, I lost $80,000 only in a couple of weeks' time. You know, because the euro currency rate compared to dollar is the lowest ever. That cost a lot of things. You know, so at my age, mistake cost. At your age, no. So it's better you try now, so you make tries. So I wish you a wonderful discussion with these people, and I wish you are going to inspire them a lot, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rivera. Yeah, how to make impact at my 20. It's a great time in the life. I've known that for myself personally. I started my career in media when I was 22. It was a great time. At that point in my life, I thought, wow, I've done it, yes. And then I had those opportunities to make an impact, as the program's director Rivera said. So for me, it was charity and a little bit of luck as well. I had opportunity to be one of the radio DJs who participated and participates in Glass House Studio .p. It's a charity event when we are 5-6 days living in Glass House, not going outside, not eating, just drinking smoothies and playing songs for donations and talking about a lot of social issues and gaining a lot of money. In 8 years we've gained together for charity almost 2.5 million euros. That's a great thing, and it's all basically donated by Latvian people and companies here in Latvia. At that point, before this event, I was thinking a lot about these things that I've done in my life, good for society and making impact as a young man. And I have a great opportunity here to inspire you as well as these wonderful people here with my work, with my things. But I'm going to be a moderator today, so just a small intro. Why this is important, because at this time more and more youngsters start developing themselves professionally at an early age. I can see that all over the place. It's inevitable, and I'm really glad about it. I've seen a lot of young Bitcoin millionaires. I've seen a lot of young rich kids who are designers and stuff like that in music industry and sports, everywhere. Young people pop up everywhere, and that's fantastic. Well, I know that at RBS here, like, the education, the skills and values that you get are meant for leaders. I believe you think as well. I'm really glad that 3 or 4 people here are the graduates of this school and will inspire you with their work and professional background. So yes, I would like to introduce you Kristaps Zvanis, account manager at Mediacom Latvia. Hi, Kristaps.
Hi.
How are you?
Great.
In due time, we would like to hear your professional background and your views on impact and success. Next to you, Lama Sile, COO at TechChill. How are you, Lama?
Great.
You finished this school as well, yeah?
Yep.
University, sorry.
Yep, 2 years ago.
How was it?
It was great. I think that actually what you mentioned about like impact and success, Claudio, one of his catchphrases when you come into the school is what success means to you, and you will be successful. So I think that we've all defined our own success.
That's great. Thank you, and we will hear from you in some moments. Nikita Trojanskis, Senior Vaccination Coordinator at the National Health Service of Latvia. Hello, how are you?
Hello, yeah, I'm quite all right. Thank you.
How are we with pandemic? I have to ask.
Oh, I hate to be a bearer of bad news, and actually today I don't have any bad news to bring. So that's already something.
That's good. That's good. I think you sleep a lot better than half a year ago.
Yeah, you're damn right.
All right, and last but not least, Elvis Sinis, mobile and POS payments product owner at Kevin. Hello, Elvis.
Hi there. Hello, everyone. Positive energy as always at RBS here. Thank you for having me.
I've heard you traveled to Riga today.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was good. It's easy, like 300 kilometers from Vilnius. Now I'm
Yeah.
based in Vilnius, even though I'm Latvian. But
Yeah. It's a good road. It's a
Yeah.
good road there. It's highway. Once, you know, one thing, I was driving too fast one time. I did not know that there are those speed cameras, but they didn't send me that fine. So half a year has gone, so yeah, I'm happy about it. They told me it's going to be a few hundred euros because, Mr. Rivera said that he lost some money. I popped up in my head. Maybe I've lost, in advance, but I hope not. Okay, about your professional background. Let's start with you, Kristaps. Tell us about yourself and give us your views on impact and success. Precisely, how do you individually see success at an early age?
Yeah, so hi everyone. I am account manager for media agency Mediacom, and overall I have 6 years experience in total in working in media agency, and direct translation would be project manager from Latvian. So as sometimes people think that account manager is sometimes associated with accounting, in this case it's not. So yes, I'm project manager, started 4 years as media planner in different agency called Inspired, and I was specifically responsible for radio and print media planning, so I was the person between account manager and the media people. So I was communicating with media people, specifically the advertising departments of them, and dealing prices with them, so the clients would get the best prices, and creating these overall media plans, choosing the best media channels for radio, even in specific hours, for example, for specific target audience of the client, so the campaign would work the best. Then I switched to being account manager, and now I am between media planner, and on the other side I have the client, and now what I have to do is I have to understand the client needs and have to create vision, meaning create strategy, translate it, and deliver a task to the media planners and overall analytics teams, then compile it all back together, and of course then translate it back to clients, so we have the best campaign, whether it's social campaign or just usual campaign. So that is mainly what I'm doing. I have experience working with clients like Coca-Cola, like Circle K, Bayer, and others. And yes, that is my main professional background. Additionally, out of professional background, I also have very important hobbies for me. I play and sing in a music band, Rubīna Kups, called, it's under the radar band, but still this is where I feel my creativity. And additionally, I'm also one of the hosts for podcast Tava Istaba, small podcast, but still we have guests where we discuss things, also educate people. Yes, so this is what I do. Regarding creating impact, well, what it means for me, actually it's quite a lot of things. First of all, I would say it's using your internal compass, like intuition or gut feeling, whatever you call it. And the earlier you understand that you being aware that it exists within you and know how to read it, the easier it will be in later years. That is the first thing. Of course, self-exploration in general, having these deep discussions within yourself and analyzing situations, whether within yourself or everything that happens around you, whether things or people around you. Then getting yourself out of your comfort zone, that is crucial, especially for me. Yes, getting yourself out of the comfort zone, challenging yourself. And if I compile now these first 3 points together, I would call it self-exploration in general. And then when you have explored yourself, then of course you can create or adjust your aim of where you want to go, what you want to be. And then by adjusting, having this aim, you know what kind of skills you will need to go to this aim. And while acquiring these skills, then I would put small sub-point for this, that it would be quite crucial and quite important for you to also be learning these skills which you are learning to someone else. Meaning by being mentor or just in general educating others. So then you would learn these skills in a whole different level. And then lastly, I would say that creating impact for me means to be patient, as nothing worthwhile comes easy and quick. So if I have to combine now all this, which I said, what I have said together, then I would say that creating impact for me is to develop yourself. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Kristaps. Thank you. A lot to remember afterwards. One thing that clearly stood out for me, like you have to analyze all the time yourself, all your actions, all your things, or everything you do, every step, every thought in your head. You just have to like let it slide through your filters and take the best of it. Maybe at one point it is the best thing. The next day you see no, that's not best. It's not the best thing. You have to do different. Yeah, we'll talk about this maybe in a moment as well. Lauma, same question for you as well. How do you see success at an early age, and of course give your impact and professional background as well?
Yes, so I'm around RBS quite a lot because I'm not only a alumni, but I'm also the board member of the Alumni Association. And I also mentor and lead the tech track program that RBS does together with Junior Achievement Latvia and Printful. And more on the professional side, I wear a lot of hats because in the startup world, you don't really do one thing, you do everything what you need to do. So my main role has been for a few years now the COO at TechChill, that's Chief Operating Officer. Basically what I do is coordinate that all of the team knows where we are heading, what we need to do, what's the main goal, that all the stakeholders are happy, and as it is TechChill as well, and we are a very small team, then I also have some kind of specific tasks. Usually it involves either partner attraction or speaker attraction from 50 plus countries usually. And actually I went to TechChill my first time because of Elvis, a course mate of mine, because I had so much FOMO of he's going to this cool tech event and like what the hell, why am I not there? So I went as a volunteer and then just grew as a project manager, partnership manager, and so on. And throughout the years, I've done several other things. I've been a part of the Startup Association. I also have my own podcast. I call myself a lazy podcaster because I do very few episodes, but it's podcast of things by Techie Foundation, where I simplify tech. I say what is a venture capital, what is a startup, and so on. And do a bunch of mentoring and support for young people coming into the industry, because tech is not just IT. Tech is actually a very creative industry where we need both creative and very analytical people. And I try to say there's a bunch of confetti, so you can see that's relevant. But yeah, I just say why we need more creative people in tech world, because that's what drives innovation. And I think for me, impact is something that just, you're doing something that makes sense. Not only does it make money, but it actually means something. So it's not just company that will drive you a bunch of revenue, but you're actually changing the world for the better. Either it's with your solution or even with your company culture. Are you helping people grow? Are you making them mentally healthy? Are you, helping them take that next step? I think that's basically what impact means to me.
Thank you. Thank you. That's inspiring. The part about the companies. And one thing I just want to add as well, work culture and in Latvia, and I think in a lot of places as well, needs to grow a bit because we don't think in sense as a person is the most important thing in everywhere. Not the other thing, the person who is in the middle of it. So yeah. We all have to do better, because that's the other thing. in our age, we are young, we can change things, and we have a lot of time to do it. Nikita, how are you in vaccination coordination office at National Health Service of Latvia?
Well, first I should say that I don't have a podcast anymore, but I had one. But I had one a few years ago. Originally, kind of from the young age, I was focusing on science a lot, and then did the International Olympiads in science, and then did the natural sciences undergraduate degree in the UK. And on my way back, I decided to grab another undergrad in management. So I guess something similar to what you study here, most of you at least. And I think there were quite many inflection points where, I took my time to decide what I want to do, because I had sudden changes of heart all the time in the past, I would say 6-7 years. But so far, the decisions, I guess, because I took time to make them, have been quite rewarding, and I decided to stay in science. I decided to focus on epidemiology. And then in January 2021, as Latvia was going through turbulence with our Minister of Health resigning, a new minister coming in, they founded this notorious Bureau of Vaccination. And I decided, well, I don't have much on my CV. I don't have much work experience, maybe 7 months really. But I should try and apply and sell myself as good as I can. And I said that, well, I think I know many things superficially. So I'll try to be this universal soldier, and I promise you I'll be learning quick. And so they gave me a chance. And that's how a very interesting journey started, where I kind of for some time became a kind of face of COVID pandemic, and did the work in the National Health Service as both vaccination process coordinator, where I had to kind of organize every step from vaccine reaching Latvia, from typically, factories in Belgium, the Netherlands, and so on, till the point when it's jabbed in a person, in someone's shoulder. So, but also I did some advisory work with the Cabinet of Ministers, where my friend and I, who we co-developed a model with, advised the government on what the trajectory of the pandemic will be like, and what interventions should be implemented if we want to actually not have many people die from it, which I hope is a priority for our country still. And yes, and so I guess that's a brief description of the past. In the present time, currently at another inflection point, because I'm leaving Latvian healthcare system in 1 month, and then I need to think what's next. And speaking of impact, well, I think there are many metrics, parameters you can kind of prioritize in choosing your career path, right? It could be money, it could be impact, it would be happiness levels, and lifetime, life, leisure, and work balance. And I think for me, impact was never the primary goal. The primary goal was for me to be excited about what I do, to have this good feeling in the morning of, not wanting to fall right back asleep. And but impact was definitely a close second. And when I was thinking about impact, I always wanted to do the opposite of what doctors do. So doctors, they focus, or teachers, and that's perfectly fine. They focus on one person, on their well-being, and their growth. They always understood that I want to be able to scale it up, to do something that is less personal, unfortunately, necessarily, but something that will hopefully positively impact as many people as possible. But I think that's not a good enough answer, because I say that impact to me is impact. I'll try to come up with a maybe more concise and clear definition. But thank you.
Thank you, Nikita. Elvis, do you have a podcast?
Yes, I do.
Who knew? Who knew? Do tell us about your podcast now, please.
Yeah, sure. But actually, I will start maybe from another like universe how to get to that podcast, right?
Sure.
So, and like what I'm hearing as well, the colleagues are saying here is that everything that is here is somewhat driven by curiosity, right? And I would say you can ask the first question yourself: what did you like the most when you were a kid? And actually, I can tell my story, and I was really curious about this questioning, right? About the things, how they are built, how to build the things, and I didn't know until one moment that I want to be the guy that is building the things, right? Because you are so, let's say, narrowed down. You do not know all the professions. When you are a kid, you know that there is a policeman, there are doctors, and there are teachers, right? But what is the whole world about? And I would say the first primary touch, what gets you and get me there is any job that you start doing quickly, early as possible. My job career started at the 13 years age. I was actually working in let's say like a factory as well, the night shift. So it was really tough experience. But when you start to communicate with, let's say, older people, you start to understand what it is about to be, let's say, living in 10 years. And for me, I as well knew that I want to give this, impact, but I didn't know what is the exact impact. And then, given that, all my family is really related towards this timber business and wooden manufacturing, I was always, let's say, thinking what is the another step above, all the, ecological green things and things like that. But still, I said to myself that I want to be, building the tech. But why I wanted to build the tech, and this is another question. So I went to challenge myself, to curious what it is to be to actually plant 500,000 trees. And I questioned that. And I got answer, because I did plant 500,000 trees in Sweden. And that's one of the things that, changed the trajectory and understanding of the world, because you understand what is stuff and where you need to be. And then the next moment, it was like around 16 age of me, and I was thinking, okay, I want to actually, help and become somebody that helps patients, like cancer patients, yeah, to create a magical cure. So I went full speed onto chemistry because I really loved the math and everything. I was really good in, let's say, this science. And then at the point when you start studying and you kind of realize that this is not something like you anymore are curious about, or gives you this sense of like you belong here, you start questioning yourself more, what actually I am passionate about. And then at one point, somehow, like by coincidence, I started to understand that actually I can help people, let's say, finding, I don't know, even the textual events, for example, somehow, and to build the products, because everything now is about the tech. And then I joined RBS, and RBS actually, I would say, changed the way and idea of how we need to build the products. And for me, it was like, I know, I want to build the products. I want to build the products for all people that are sitting here, and for all people in all Europe and all the world. And that's what, as well, for me, impact. And there's, of course, like monetary, the business things. But the main thing is that you question yourself. What are the problems that, let's say, my product can help you to resolve to become even, I don't know, better human, right? And so this impact step went step by step. And luckily now I had a good chance to be one of the early employees at, let's say, booming startup now, Kevin, which is like fintech payment infrastructure. We recently raised one of the biggest Series A in all Baltics, and it's it's not the silver bullet. After the race, you need to understand that it's a lot of work. And I would say the main message as well from my side, the impact is actually the more you start doing. The better you will reach that impact. Even if you fail, and people will say, hey, like you failed, chemistry, and I said, okay, yeah, but I studied like all 10s, I win the Olympiad, but now I'm making another product, and I still believe this idea of the impact that my product will help somehow to reach that primary goal that I want to help, all these patients and everything. So yeah, main impact here is ask for your curiosity, where you were curious about during the childhood, and that will lead you to the path even after 7 years. So that's pretty much about me.
Elvi, can you tell us more about a mobile and POS payments product?
Yeah,
Kevin?
sure. Maybe let's define the first thing. What is the product ownership? What the product owners do? They are mini Elon Musk, mini Steve Jobs.
Cool.
It's like the person that knows everything and tries to connect all the dots in the puzzle, because you know the tech, you know the design, you know the business, and just try to gather all these things and put into live version for the users. So this is what I do in Kevin, basically building new, innovative, future products and disrupting existing market.
Great. Thank you for clarification. I have a question for all you guys. Have you ever thought about catchphrases or slogans in your life? Have you had one? For instance, when I was 22, 23, maybe 24, I grew to one phrase like this: improvise, adapt, overcome, and it helped me a lot through my 20s. Have you ever thought about something like this? And maybe you have something like this in your arsenal.
Maybe challenge yourself, maybe something that simple, as I mentioned earlier, than getting out of comfort zone, then that is how I try to move forward, but still, I have these sometimes anxieties or something like that, but just push to your weakness, maybe.
Okay, push to your weakness. Write it down, it can help. Lama, for you? Do you have any?
We have a bunch at TechChill. We do these merch sweaters and T-shirts with it, but I don't know. I don't know if I will not get beeped out for them. But it's basically, some of them are, for example, lead, follow, or get out of the way. That you need to either be leading the project or you're following the project, but you're not saying only bad things and not following anything through. And another thing is basically if something goes, I don't want to curse in front of kids.
You can say sorry before that.
It's basically like fuck it, fix it. It's a thing we live by at TechChill, because events always go wrong, nothing goes right, so you have to adapt and you have to fix it, and you just gotta live by that. So yeah,
thank you.
Those are some.
Thank you. It will go down in history. That's for sure. Nikita, for you?
Well, I think I haven't independently arrived to a short catchphrase like this, but a phrase that has been helping me a lot during crises that happen in everyone's life, both professional and otherwise, is something that was engraved on a ring of King Solomon from the Bible. So it said, "This too shall pass." So, whatever you're going through, this too shall pass.
It's stoic peace. I feel in your in your voice, really good. It's so shall pass. Good to sail with. Yeah, Elvis, for you?
Actually, a recent finding is one of the, let's say, ex-rocket scientist, let's say, quote, or let's say, I don't know, idea, is that there is a lot of unknown knowns, known unknowns, and unknown unknowns. So, and this actually is, again, back to the first part, is that question yourself, curiosity, and be, let's say, humble at the point to reach that unknown and try to put it to some known knowns. Yeah, so that's at least for me.
That's a tongue twister as well, How do you get yourself together after situations where everything you've planned crashes? How do you pick up yourself after lost battles?
Don't forget to breathe. Actually, in general, breathing in general is very calming, and as I sing also, I put more attention to it also, and it's a very simple way just to calm yourself, when everything crashes.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could add up that it's not something that you can do already when everything crashes, but before, pick a team and pick people around you that that will be there for you when everything will go wrong, that will understand, and that will be there to be fully transparent, that will fully trust you, and that do realize that you will have the learning curve because you are young, you are in either a job or project or whatever. So once you have those people around you, when you crash, it's not that bad. You just pick yourself up and you know, fail again.
I think for damage control, which I hope I'm generally good at, I think my first step is to always kind of understand the price that I will have to pay for a crisis that I'm enduring, let's say at work. And typically I see that, well, the price is typically high, but it's bearable, right? It's almost never unbearable. And so I identify what is the price that I'm not willing to pay. And if I see that the magnitude of the problem is approaching that, then I start to act somehow very drastically. Until then, I guess stoically, I'm kind of content with the idea that, well, I'll have to suffer.
Wow.
No,
That's true.
I guess I'm having flashbacks to kind of October, November, December when you know, I was seeing where the pandemic is going, and at first there was huge disbelief, then kind of the prophecies starting coming true, and kind of I guess you would go mad if you didn't have certain way to appease yourself with a harsh reality.
Thank you. This experience, I believe, has changed you for good as well. You know, you've learned a lot.
Hopefully.
Yeah, Elvis, how about you?
Actually, regarding this crashing, I would say definitely you need to try to crash it again, like, because I will explain why. The first crash is like if something fails totally and you see that there is, you know, no chance that you can fix it, or you already understand what the damages are. You just try to, you know, you are nervous, adrenaline is high, and you are trying to think what from another angle, how this problem originated, and maybe you can find the paths towards fixing it. Because and that's maybe again my kind of experience. To have a problems and fails, it's totally enough. Everyone like fails, yeah. And actually, these moments, small moments when somebody, I don't know, for example, you released some product that crashed, I don't know, something, yeah. It leads to you think what is the next wave that you can like avoid not to crash it, and then you see another crash appear. So you are more resistant towards the crashes, but you are as well thinking more with the, you know, with fresh head, and you are not panicking. You are trying to solve the puzzle much faster. So that at least, you know, was for. But it doesn't work in rocket science. So it's one launch, and there is no fails.
Yeah.
And actually, this idea of as well rocket science, it's really, you know, interesting industry and complex, and there is, you know, no error and margin of mistake. You cannot do any mistakes. In the rest of the world, like you can make mistakes in business. Of course, you will maybe lose some thousands, but you will still think about how to get back and not do mistakes.
Yeah, and it's expensive to blow up a rocket, you know.
Yeah.
Elon does know as well, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Now we have your profiles, as I would say, and I think a lot of people here are curious about a lot of things we will talk about. I have some points we will go through in this discussion about. Let's start with the area of interest. What were your childhood dreams? From you, I've kind of heard it a little bit, but the others, yeah, the speakers, key speakers here, who did you want to become? Elvis, as you told us a bit about yourself and your childhood, maybe you can put some dots on I's and cross some T's.
Yeah, okay, sure. Actually, you know, that's the fun part. I wanted to be as well, like I knew the profession of like policeman, right? I wanted to be sort of policeman. But this curiosity led me to one interesting question that I asked, you know, my parents, and you know, I asked, where does the police car during the night sleeps? Like, and you know, they started, no, we will not answer this question, you know, and then you know, they said actually in garage, and I was like, okay, so I think I do not want that, you know, the police car is actually sleeping, so I want that the car is working. But nevertheless, you know, yeah, I look to even back then to like Steve Jobs and everyone who started, you know, to build amazing like intuitive products, that at some point, at some day, you can be the guy, like with all the team that creates amazing product for the futuristic generation, not in 10 years, but like in 30. You have to feel like that somebody is using the product and it gives, let's say, best experience to them as well. So.
Would you say that this helped you realize what your professional calling is? This feeling that you want to change the world and make products that will like change your way of people live in some sense?
Yeah, actually, you know, I noticed it only around like 19 years or 20 years old, because I didn't know all the professions. Actually, you know, when I came in from, let's say, top 10 town in Latvia, but still, like what you know is like top professions, but you do not know what is behind. So nobody even in town know what is the product owner or who is like chief operational officer, chief commercial officer. So you have the business, you know, you have accountants, and I think at the point I realized that there is multiple, you know, trajectories how you can get there, and actually this is job that all defines you, what you were doing and thinking, but now you are, let's say, more focused towards, you know, reaching that, I don't know, product scale, product success, and helping other people with this given, I don't know, IT or hardware products. So.
All right, thank you. Same applies, these two questions for you guys as well. Nikita, what was your dream job when you were a kiddo?
Well, an interesting thing happened to me when I was around 21, and my mom says the same thing occurred to her around that age. I completely do not remember myself before the age of 18. I have it's some kind of genetic amnesia.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're not joking?
No,
Okay.
kidding. Like, actually, okay. I don't remember neither people nor actually kind of dreams. But
fresh start.
Yeah, I guess tabula rasa, clean slate. But I think one of the, well, I've always been greedy in the life science. So I think business in kind of biotech has always been a logical path, and I still hope to pursue it at some point. And I know that there is one topic that always seemed interesting to me, and I hope that some of you will share this. It's called gerontology, the science of aging. And there is a lot of money in there right now, and the amount will only keep growing. And so there are some startups that hope to achieve factual immortality. And I'm confident that there is already a person who will live till the age of 1,000 years old alive today. So I think perhaps, maybe, that's something I wanted before I was 18. I don't remember.
So then the next question about what helped you realize your path on your professional calling after 21 was?
Well, I don't really think that I do have a professional calling, because I'm thinking of switching up both the pace and the direction a lot in the future. So I don't think that I don't know why liberals want to cancel him. I love Elon Musk, and I think he's an example of a person who kind of goes in all sorts of directions and succeeds everywhere. So I think I want to be just like that in terms of how vastly I disperse myself over the field.
Which direction are you looking at now?
Well, now for the next 2-3 years, I'll probably go into viral evolution. So still something close to coronavirus.
Yes.
Yeah. But then in 5-10 years time, I want to do biotech business, but probably in this field of aging.
All right. For a grasp of understanding, can you sketch a little bit for us the concept of aging and the technology behind it? Yeah. How do you see it yourself? How we can like live for 1,000 years, like physically live?
Yeah. So there are a few components to why we age, and one of the most important ones is that our body produces oxygen, kind of radicalized oxygen that goes on to attack your cells from the inside, and that's how people age, that's how wrinkles arise. And we need to and so the whole field is pretty much working on chemicals or biosynthetics that will slow down this process so that a person won't have this internal erosion, and then in theory you could live forever.
Cool, thanks. I've always thought that oxygen is like a gas that slowly and slowly kills us. You know,
Yeah.
it's a hard one, man, a dark one as well. But thank you for this insight. Lauma, what was your childhood dreams about your profession? What did you want to be?
I don't think I had some professions or something I wanted to do. Something that my family relates to now is that we had like family businesses, like small shops near Tsesis, where I'm from, and I was always behind the counter just playing around. And also there were some other entrepreneurs in my family, and so when I was like 5 or 6 years old, the thing that I did always while visiting family was I took all the snacks, all the food, all the junk food, and I sold it to my family in my home, and I made quite a good profit for a 6-year-old. Like I had like some pocket money. So I think that was at some sense like how I liked building my own business, if you can say. And then later on in the years, it kind of escalated while helping some family members or helping some friends scale projects, not necessarily businesses. And that's something I think that relates to me today, that I like to help startups grow and succeed, and not only existing startups, but also founders that lack that confidence or lack that skills or lack something. I help them take that next step to sell something to people and make something.
Make something out of it, yes. Yeah. What are the core values with which you navigate through life then? Because I hear you like help. You like to help a lot. You know, give the confidence for the people as well, as you said before.
Well, I think that those are some things that I already mentioned about transparency and also giving back. I think that especially when you're young and when you're going into the industry, there are a lot of things that you figure out on your own because there are no sources of information for how to actually get to the next step. And there are also some processes that needs to change. So while you're going through that, if you are able to give back that information to younger generations or to your peers, you're helping, you're making an impact, you're giving back. So for example, right now I'm looking into the venture capital world, and what I see is that you need to work for like 5+ up to 10 years to become a partner or to become something at a company. And for Gen Z individuals who are used to just, I want to make impact now, I want to change something, I want to do something, those 5 to 10 years are forever. Like we were like, 10 years ago? So I think that's one of the things that wherever I'm going, I'm trying to reinvent the things and then give back to others who think alike.
Yeah. Some studies state that Gen Zs like to work not more than 2 to 3 years in one particular position, and then they switch because it's boring and lack of interest, and you want to challenge yourself, and that's why you like switch fields, switch positions and stuff like that. I've seen that with my colleagues as well on Latvian radio. Young people who come to work for us, they do a great job, and then suddenly you see he has a lot of potential. For instance, we have one colleague, I love him so much, Walters, his name is, in social media director there, and he will go away because he had great opportunity elsewhere, and I'm happy for him, but at the same time I'm sad because he's a great professional. Christoph, sorry?
Lauma, you were saying it takes 5 to 10 years for a startup employee, so for whom would it take 5 to 10 years to reach this partnership, or for a person in venture capitalism?
Well, if you are already a part of a startup, of the founding team, you already have some operational knowledge, like how to actually do the financial things and how to build a company, then it takes less time. But if you have been working in either ecosystem support organization or completely new field, you will most likely go into either associate or intern role, and then you will have to learn these skills by doing, and many companies don't have the time and resources to invest that. So it will just take more time, and it will be a bigger company, therefore more time.
Thanks for clarification, and so good. Yeah, if you have something to add or ask to your peers here, please don't hesitate. Kristaps, what was your childhood dreams? What did you want? Who did you want to become?
I wanted to be a musician. specifically singer. And in a way, it has moved to my hobby, as I'm still singing and being musician. Also, I'm going like to specific vocal coaches also, so also like evolving in this hobby also. Yeah, when it comes to how it translates into my professional career, I believe that maybe the creativity, which is through the being musician, creating these songs. And I also liked very much mathematics in school. I was not the one who got like 9 or 10s all the time, but still I liked mathematics. I enjoyed it. And when you compile this creativity with mathematics, analytics, then I understand that I saw that media agency seemed like a place where specifically that is happening, like where there is both creativity and also you look at data from analytical standpoint, just compiling it all together. So yeah, something like that.
That's how it worked out. And the core values as well, with which you navigate through life for you.
Core values, I would say honesty, openness to new things, to new challenges. Empathy is something that is just there. Yeah, for me. And then, yes, those would probably be the main, which come into my mind now. Yeah.
Let's talk about the core values with you guys as well, Nikita. Your core values.
Well, I think definitely one of them would be being honest. Well, of course, to the others, but also to yourself. Understanding profoundly why you did a certain thing. For instance, then being predictable to yourself, not giving into emotions too much, yes. And I think a third one would be, well, there is this phrase from Bambi about the cartoon, and my mentor when I worked at the UN in Geneva once told me this. When you have nothing good to say, then better say nothing at all. I think try to reduce the amount of negativity you bring in.
Cool. That works on social media as well. Am I right?
Yeah, of course.
Elvis, your core values for your navigation course in your life?
Yeah, I would say as well the honesty part, because I see the honesty as especially in every workplace as well as the startup that you're trying to build, or any other job you're trying to build as well, the trust with your colleagues that you are working with, right? And actually, honesty. There might be two consequences to it, but the positive consequences that you are driving full speed and you have this common, let's say, mission towards the let's say you have a division of the product or of the job that you need to done, and you are united and you are honest with each other how you are feeling about this, where it stands, and how we can move forward. Another part, I would say, it's like, for me at least, is as well support, and I would say emotional support, to feel when the team members are a bit maybe struggling or having some maybe like challenges, then try to support them. Because I mean, I played all my life team sport. I was as well in football, and professionally I was like a captain. So you have this kind of spirit of helping others and not thinking always about yourself like primary, but you are thinking about how everyone's feeling in the team, because you know that the synergy is created. When the synergy is created, it's actually coming to the positive direction. And the third, I would say, is just work ethics. It's like you need to put, need to be humble. You need to work and understand that nothing comes easy. Yeah, because work, it's the effort that you put. The more, let's say, you put, the better you understand all the things what is happening in the world, I would say.
Today I've read one tweet about how can you kind of get to know yourself. There is a way. You just have to remove lust and laziness out of your life. Then you will see if it breaks you. If it does not break you, you know you're made of. You know then what are you made of? But if it breaks you, you have to change some certain skills or some certain behavior in your life. Well, it's a great thought, you know.
Main thought was like, I think laziness is like cancel Netflix subscription or something.
As well. When laziness, you know, I will say this. I will do this thing tomorrow. You know, the work ethics. That triggered me. The thing.
I think one important part as well with this work ethics, you know, sometimes you think that it's like hard to start doing actually, but when you start doing even, I don't know, washing the dishes, like one small step, you know, even planting one tree, you feel like you can do something more, right? So and this is the process, the journey that sticks to you, and you want it more, you know. And
I'm living in a flat where I have to water plants for the first time in my life, and it's just doing miracles. And, the fact that it's on the one hand, it's stealing a lot of my time because there are so many plants. This guy who is renting it away from me is obsessed by, but I see how I guess start to time manage my life a bit better because I need to account for those little plants.
Oh, but there's an app for that, right? You can suggest.
I've been creating the app for plants when you need to remember, like when the specific plant needs to be watered. So you shouldn't overwater everyone. Like caring is good thing, but over caring is as well could give you know, consequences.
Yep. And what's the app called then?
It's like a Steward app. Like it's like US based app.
Yeah.
It was as well like listed in New York Times and everywhere. But so you can go and check out.
Basically,
definitely.
you make a photo with the plant. AI recognizes the plant.
It's actually
and sees
it even knows where to put this specific plant in the room.
Shadow or sun side.
Yeah. Every plant is, you know, it's like us here. You know, we are special. Everyone is special with different things. You know.
Yeah, you can also name the plants there.
Yeah.
That's the fun part.
Cool. How about your plants then?
I was killing all my plants. That's why I always suggested the app.
I have one cactus, and
cool.
it does not need a lot of watering, but still needs it a bit.
Yeah, cool, cacti. That's great things. The next thing I want to talk with you about the career and starting a career, and obviously the first question about this part is, what were your first job where you gained some cash? When did you get some Skrilla, you know, some money in your pocket? Do you remember your first job? I remember my first job. The first, like the, I'm sorry. The first job. I was 14 or 15 years old. It was summer for 2 months in one company that exported wooden products from Latvia. I was a guy who nailed in. I don't know in English in the terms. You know the pallets you put things on for shipping, and then you can make like walls for the pallets. I was the guy who manually puts nail through one side, through other side. My brother was in front of me doing the same. We just flip it on the side, put on the pallet, and then for 2 months straight up from 9 to 5. 14 years old. I've gained a lot of lats at that time. For me, it was huge money. I will not tell you what I buy with that, but it was worth it. Then I broke it, and then I just stopped smoking shisha. The first break money. It was trendy at that time, you know. But yeah, at that point, people here in Riga as well, they were not. They didn't care. They didn't care if you're 18 or not. If you wanted to buy tobacco, you could. But I'm not encouraging to smoke or anything. Yeah, well, it's just history, you know. That was my experience. But the next job, the next work, I can say it was a bit more for me better, because I was working as a person. Well, you know, in a supermarket, when you stay there with promotion things and stuff, toothpastes, cakes, I don't know, roses, champagne, whatever, sugar, you name it. I've done that for a lot of time, a few years, and then I was bartending. I went to bartender school. I've learned a lot of social skills because of bartending and being in this business for years. I know a lot about alcoholic drinks, cocktails, history, and everything. I met a lot of people, sober and drunk, because of the work specifics. And then when I was a bartender, I remember I've seen the DJs. They play great music, and I had music background as well. I was learning in music school. I played saxophone, piano, guitar, and I was singing as well. And at that time, I said to professionally for music no, because I didn't want to do it anymore. And but the music was still in me. And afterwards, yeah, after a few years in bars, I understood that, hey, maybe I can DJ. And I started to DJ. I believe I was I was really courageous, I would say. At this point, and with this mind, in this mindset, I would not start then. I'm maybe too brave. I don't know. I did not know consequences and stuff like that because I didn't care. And at that point, at that 20s, you don't care. And in some sense, it's really good because you then can like do bigger things. And yeah, I'm DJing since, and now I'm happy that I did not quit at that time. So yeah, basically it started from that time when I was picking some wood and making some these things and putting on a crate. What about you guys? What about you guys? Yeah, what was your first job? Let's start with you, Lama.
Well, I already told my first illegal job, didn't pay taxes. But I think it's important to mention both the jobs that you do for paid jobs and then things that you do for free. So I was actually hosting a lot of events during basically like primary school up to high school, up to the point where the event agency that hosted the city celebration event hired me as their like project lead. Right. I was selling cakes to like the local government, like of the city councils. How are they called in English? Also didn't pay taxes for that, so we're teaching a lot of good things now. But yeah, I did a bunch of summer jobs, like the classic things that you do in smaller municipalities. And then when I came to RBS, I actually wanted to start my event management business, but I delayed that because the first semester here is like hell. But you'll get through it. And I was hatched for an internship at a local fashion label, and I started working in B2B sales. And pretty much it went from, I said yes to 2 months, and I stayed there for 2 years. And those 2 years were so valuable to me because I learned a lot about communication, because I worked with all over the world. Middle East was one of the biggest markets for me, and also the US and Russia, even though all the emails I sent were translated by colleagues because I speak like no word in Russian. But yeah, that was a very valuable time for me because I learned a lot about communication. And yeah, and then I moved to TechChill.
Since that, you're in TechChill.
Yeah, now I pay taxes.
Great.
So we're good.
Great, that's good. Elvis, what about you?
Yeah, actually, I told the story about this production factory, but the first job, actually, I would say it's like collecting. I was collecting let's say 2 kilos of cranberries, and the main idea was to just go out of this, like go to the street, because we, like in the city where we lived, it's pretty central place, and I remember I stood there for all day. Like I tried to pitch myself to others, hey, please, like I was like 6, 7, but like mom was always watching how everything is going. And I remember that feeling that actually woman came and started to ask me the questions about, cranberries. And I explained all the story. So I did the storytelling. Apparently some sales appeared somewhere, like, yeah, 2 lots was mine. I was like super happy. Nice. That was like, the best feeling, I would say, that you remember. And then the next best feeling is actually, working as you as well with let's say this production with the wooden pallets and everything.
Oh, yeah.
I did actually the same, but only I packed, not with the nails, but with the, like, how to say, like with the, cables, because we needed to ship that. And that was pretty challenging at 13, because I needed to work night shifts.
Night shifts, that's even harder, man.
Yeah. And then it's every single summer after that I worked somewhere. So, and then it's like Sweden, then creating, actually one important part is as well, I still participated in, let's say, those cancer treatment product creations. I was working in chemical lab that actually supported these organic substances, and so there I as well learned a lot of things, and then somehow it appeared to be RBS, and from RBS the first was actually being accountant, and then understanding being accountant in IT company, it's fun because you understand what you can do there, and yeah, basically that's how I navigated to this product ownership and mini, let's say, visionarism, product creation.
All right. Let's go with Kristaps. What was your first professional experience?
For me, the first was washing cars. I don't remember how old I was. I think something like 14 or something like that. But yeah, I think I was there for like 3 weeks because the cost to get to that job and lunch would cost more than I would have earned in the job. So
Oh, that's good.
it was not very good in that sense. And also the environment, like I remember the feeling that it felt like the people around there was like some kind of underground fighting club or something like that, you know. So the overall feeling, yeah, just I was there for 3 weeks and then I, yeah, went away.
How do you feel, or how you felt about the people you were working with when you were younger in your first job experiences?
Basically, I think that is the most important thing, the people around you and how you feel about them. And when I had the first like real professional experience in the media agency, and then the people around there were just great, and now also are great in the current media agency. And yes, I think that is like the basis for everything. For you to stay there more than maybe 2 or 3 years.
I've heard that you always have to be in a crowd where the smarter people are around you. That's why they kind of pick you up, and you will be in some sense in the same position where you have to like pick someone up. Now I feel like that. That's good. That's good. With 4 of you guys here. Yeah, Nikita, your first job.
Well, my parents, they own a small territory in Vetaki where it gets quite busy during the summer. So since the age of maybe 11 or 10, I ran this place as a parking during the summer. So every morning I would get up, attract people who were desperate to find a place to park, and I think I did this until 20 or something. So.
Well, it's a great passive income stream, in some sense, passive income. But, yeah.
Oh, it took a lot of time to do this. Yeah, yeah. It's not as hard as nailing the
Yeah.
pallets,
Well, a great experience. What did you learn there?
Well, I think some sales tricks, made some friends, and well, didn't have any colleagues, but that was one of the most fun things, that when I had girlfriends and they would stay at my place, then we would attract cars together. That was a very joyous relationship activity.
How much was her share then?
We then in the evening we would go to the center of Riga and just spend it immediately on drinks.
Yeah. Great.
Were you like holding, like in US, they give you a key and you can drive. Did you get a chance to drive?
No, I still don't have a license, man.
Snap.
Oh my, that's cool. Yeah. And how do you think? How did it contribute to your personality development?
Well, perhaps it only strengthened, the idea that you should always be, open about things and try to. Well, the point is, it was very talkative business, right? I need to talk a lot, and I hope that it maybe improved my rhetorics a bit. Yeah.
But then now switching to professional work experience now in field you work now. How was it? How was it to start? Because the next question for you is what should you say to all those people who are still studying or just graduated? What should they consider when choosing their first workplaces?
Well, here I have few pieces of advice that I'm kind of confident about, because I've attended events like the one today in the past as well. And so one thing is, I know how hard it is to start a career, because typically when you are 18, 19, 20, 21, you don't really have much on your CV. But all official vacancies on web pages require you to have like 5 years of experience or something. So one thing, you gotta lie. So what I strongly recommend, do tons of online courses on, Coursera.org or edx.com. You can pretty much learn anything online. Start those courses, not necessarily even finish them, but you get diploma. And so seriously, boost your CV in the most dishonest ways so that you have something to talk in your personal statement, because it won't matter, you will still be useless probably for the first year. So, and then the second thing, don't be afraid to learn, like be obnoxious, but learn as much as you can from your employees, because they're almost definitely much smarter than you. And but also don't be too afraid to put yourself out there in your first work environment, like ask questions during MS Team calls, and kind of don't be afraid to look stupid, because looking stupid is worse than looking passive.
The same question applies to everyone here on panel, please.
I would say, yeah, definitely. Of course, there's no experience and zero to put on your CV almost, but at the beginning. But I think you have to just try many aims, try different things, but choose places for which you are excited about. Because when you go to an interview and you are excited about something, then the person standing in front of you will see that, he will feel it, see that, and he will maybe give you the spot only because you have that passion, have that excitement about this thing. So yeah, that would be my advice.
Lama?
I would really disagree about the lying part. Because I mean, you do need to sell yourself. You do need to make your CV or whatever you're doing really polished. But don't be afraid to put in there like youth council or volunteer work or whatever you've done. Even student associations. Those are the things that show your characteristics. Show that you've been good at, I don't know, like selling or communications or whatever. What you have done. Because at the end of the day, people work with people. They don't care about what kind of labels you have. It depends on the company, but you really don't want to. My biased opinion is that you don't want to work for a company that just hires you because of the school you went to or because of the company you went to. They hire you because you are able to do those things that they need. And for me, I've always been super transparent about, even now going through some interviews, I say, I have no idea how to do the practical operational things of a venture capital, but I do have a bunch of ecosystem contacts. I do have knowledge of startups, so I can learn along the way the things that you need. And even before that, I said, I'm really good at, doing tasks, communicating with people, and so on. So sell the things that you can, make sure that you know yourself, what are those things, and just build upon that.
What do they say when you say at those interviews that you cannot do particularly about some sort of things that they say that they will be in your work under your management? What do they answer to you, and are you not afraid? Yeah. Because that's, I think, the stereotype when you're young in age, that maybe if I say something that they will totally no, go away, we don't need you because you can't apply because you don't know how to do this and that.
Mm-hmm. I think there are two types of companies. Ones are the ones that they don't really care. Like if you don't know the thing and you say you don't know the thing, they will just check that you're not suitable for the job and they will not care really about anything further. But there are a lot of companies that really value the thing that you say, I don't know these things, but I've done my research, I know what I don't know, I will ask a lot of questions, I'm a fast learner, and they're ready to onboard you, and they're ready to teach you all of these things because they see that you have that passion. Because they can hire another person that's been doing the same thing for 5 or 10 years, and they will leave the company whenever they get a better chance, whenever they are offered more money. They will leave, so they will not get the person, the characteristics that you have.
And what's the strategy when you have to speak about the money and the finalizing the deal? What's the bargaining chip from your side? Because at some sense, as a company owner or a person from HR that's speaking to you, for instance, if we make this one like a small theater charades, hey, well, you can't do this. The for this position we offer you this much, but since you don't do this, we will we'll cut this for 20%. How you get around this? Do you have a strategy for these kind of events? Because as you said, a professional who knows these things, he will leave in few years. You as a person who will learn along by the way, you're more in some sense valuable, but at the same time, you know, underdeveloped in some skills.
Yeah, I think that it's completely fine if you get a smaller deal. I mean, if you were applying to a role that you're not fully qualified for, you should understand that. But it's important to already say at the very start, or even put it in your contract if that's possible, that we will have this talk after like 6 months or 1 year or whatever. And if I do these KPIs, if I do this qualification or whatever the role is, then we will have this talk about increasing the salary. And this is even important if you are fully qualified for the role, because now all the expenses are rising so much that it's important to already navigate that future plan with the company at the very start.
That's a key point. Remember this. Plan in advance. Inflation, always. Elvis.
Yeah, actually, I would say even putting just now, I'm thinking about new generation. Even I know a lot of people, and young kids are playing the video games and everything. Even on one side, to put that into, let's say, your CV is nothing bad, and I can explain why. Because if you are applying, let's say, for the product job, let's say you want to be creating or in IT, then this might help. Because you, as a user, you understand how you could build the things differently and better, right? This is one part. Yeah, don't be afraid of your hobbies and what as well. Now I'm being as well more as a, let's say, hiring manager that always ask these questions. Don't hide this. Yeah, tell that if you do the sports, then it's like everyone knows that are you team player, maybe you're a good leader. So these qualities will bring everything into the piece. And another part, what I was thinking, and actually I think RBS community will, when you study here, is helping to reach that. Maybe not that much in school. Try to know your members like more and networking, because there might be a case that somebody knows somebody where you actually can start your first job. And this actually happened to a lot of us, at least that I know, And this networking skill is really important, because if I'm now going back to all this, then it's because of the networking that some people, you create your own as well, let's say, image or work ethic, and somebody can refer you. And this will be like, let's say, valuable thing to start. And the third note is that when you want to start, let's say, for this first job, I would say my personal advice would be choose maybe a smaller company, because there will be a lot of, let's say, not specific processes established. You will see all the things, how the business actually operates. And another part, of course, you might start from different angle to understand which culture you best fit, because I tried one and another, and I understood where I would like to be. You need to understand, it's good to start with small company, but it's as well good start with the bigger company where everything is, let's say, in the process. And yeah, that's the main thing, I would say.
All right, let's continue with success and its elements, because luck and success, it's a variable that is always in this equation. Please give to the audience your definition of having a successful career. Nikita, let's start with you.
Well, so I think most people, at first in their career, I'm saying sorry because I'm going to be rude now. They have to eat shit for the first maybe a year, 2 years. I had to eat it for 7 months. And then all of a sudden success happened. I got lucky. I think at first luck is a necessary precursor for success. And success for me was actually enjoying kind of my everyday work. And also for the first time in life, in professional life, having some power over something or someone. So the idea that cosmic forces or my employees have decided that I have enough competence, so they endowed me with this power to actually make some decisions, to call shots. And that's when I, for the first time in my life, professional life, kind of sensed, wow, that's success. I can influence other people's lives through intellectual process. And yes, but of course you don't always get lucky, and there's always someone above you who will kind of at some point say that your decision was not worth it, and they change it. But I guess the biggest success in my career was when in October, together with my co-author, we kind of identified the trajectory for the delta wave, which ended up being pretty precise, and we started ringing bells saying, well, lockdown is needed if we, and I completely understand that lockdown is very bad for economics, for businesses, etc. But if we don't do this, then we could quantify the number of people who will probably lose their lives to it. And at first, I remember there was this cabinet of ministers meeting that lasted for 11 hours, and we failed to persuade them to implement lockdown. That was failure, the opposite of success. But then we kept pushing, and in 10 days, lockdown was implemented. And I think this kind of, not persuasiveness, but stubbornness led to success, and hopefully thousands of lives being rescued. So, and again, this comes back to my definition of success. For me, not for everyone else, but for me, it's influencing people's lives.
Lama, what is your answer to this definition of having a successful career?
I think for me it's just not really about the roles, payments, or so on. It's about, do you enjoy what you do? Because there are so many things that you can do, so many things that you can, you know, climb up the ladder of whatever, corporate or not corporate. But for me it's just, you do your job for like, what, 8 hours a day usually. So you have to really like what you're doing. And for me, for example, at TechChill, we are an event at core, but we do bring community together. So for me, a success was, for example, this year when we, after COVID, after everything that still is happening in the world, we brought all the community together, and we are seeing that startups that have met investors in the event that are already closing rounds, or new startups popping up, or community coming together and saying, this is the place where I belong, this is where I feel the most fulfilled. That's something that I felt success from like a more practical view, but in general it's just like I feel the most successful or the most happiest when I really enjoy what I do.
That's the one thing as well to keep in mind. Yeah, I can. I would like to just say the same thing about the love and passion about your thing you do in your life. For me, my every day goes when I wake up 5 o'clock every morning, go to radio station, say hello to everyone at 6 o'clock. Basically, everyone's sleeping at that time, at that point. But I really like and I love my job, and that's keeps me going every day, every single day, except Saturdays and Sundays, of course.
But so from your two definitions, I understand that for you success does not imply impact, right?
No. It's just one small thing. I'm not giving you a definition now. I'm just reacting to the thing Lama said about being happy what you do. Impact, as I was stating at the very beginning, I'm grateful that I've been in a position to do it and to be able, to show it with my work and my life as well, and it's a really huge deal, and it's a huge thing, and at some point you have to understand that you can't with your work and everything, you can't make hurt yourself. You know, you have to find the right place and path for you to be mentally stable, physically in good shape, At the same time, do not overwork yourself, but at the same time, you have to make an impact and make a lot of money, of course. Filthy rich is the way we want to go. All right, all right.
Yeah, I think I can add on the impact part. Well, it's I think it's different for everyone. If some kind of a goal of an impact, whether it's fundraising to your company or making the world more sustainable, if that's your goal, if that's your success, that's your truth. I think for me personally, I don't know about you guys, for me personally, it does bring this success that I hear from companies coming into TechChill, that we're happy or we're fulfilled or so on, but those things changes so fast that it's just impact, that there are some things that are going well, people that are happy, and that's kind of an impact.
Yeah,
right?
it's small. You can scale impact as well, like a small droplets in the water, and it makes the waves. Some are bigger, some are smaller. I should say like that. Kristaps, your definition about successful career?
For me, success would be when you really feel that you are developing yourself. That you're looking back, and sometimes I see people saying that I wanted for it to be just 2009, yeah, for example, or something, just back the old days or something like that. I've never understood that. As I feel like the success is when you continually just keep working on it, and you just don't look back, and you just move forward. And as you are working very hard for it, then I would do not understand why would people just want to get back to the old, for example, days. But yeah, regarding success, it's about developing yourself for me. Yeah.
Elvis, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I would say this success story still, let's say, the career path for all of us is still, let's say, ongoing. We can share, these, I would call small successes or successes as well. But the main thing that I'm really, at the moment, and looking back even 5 years back when I changed all this trajectory towards this product creation, I would say, the most successful thing is when you wake up actually in the morning and you don't go just to job, right? Don't go just to radio station. Don't just go to, I don't know, organized community. Don't just put vaccination or media marketing. It's more about that you feel passionate on what you do. And actually it brings, and you will realize that at one point you think, oh, I'm not that maybe passionate. And when you find this hit, it brings some crazy ideas. It's crazy in the work, it's crazy with the product, and you start loving. And this job, what is now 9 to 5, it becomes more like a lifestyle, I would say, right? So you are already creating with that job some impact. Yeah. And for me, for example, recent, I would say, success formula was that when I see that my mentor, the high school kids, got in Latvian national television in the morning, I was super proud. For me, that's the formula success and / impact that I know. I helped them to build or to somehow understand that what they can do, and they were interviewed by Latvian First Television in the morning. So that's good. And then as well, looking now back, I'm as well mentor and let's say track lead in Riga Tech Girls, helping women to understand, let's say, after their primary career, what they can do in tech. And this is another big hit because I was looking back, I was not able to explain myself what is my actually profession do, and now I can share what actually the people like me and what is my day job. And if somebody lands the job and feels this passion, then it's success. So, and I hope everyone finds this one thing, even maybe it's outside of the work, but this still leads you to this bigger achievements. So.
Let's talk about 4 elements that are main things that can help the most when progressing in a business career. It's underlined that we have to discuss about all of these things. And the first one is values. How do you think about this one? What are the main values you think will help the most when progressing in a business career? It is a thing to think about. The next thing is skills, then characteristics, then habits. But let's start with values. Maybe we can give some set of values like
The
that will help the most when progressing in a business career. Basically, you have started your career,
Yeah.
you've been hired,
Yes.
everything is fine, everything is going, and now we want to develop ourselves. So yeah, who is the first who want to start, please? Yes, Nikita.
I know this one surprising statistics that relates to this. There was this OECD study on productivity in various countries in OECD. OECD are pretty much the developed countries of the world, around 40 of them, I think. And interestingly, in Latvia, our average productivity is, in any field, is 25% of the OECD average. So our average employee in whatever field it is works 4 times, produces 4 times less value in a given amount of time. And even in fields like timber and IT, where we typically pride ourselves about, the productivity was 49% of the OECD average. So it means we achieved again. But so this relates to what we can do much better. I think from the universities, from the ground up, we should learn good time management, work ethics, and that's if I was to build a startup in Latvia or was joining a startup, that's what I would be looking for. How well people, can endure the suffering of overcoming laziness. And because I see that that's the main plague of Latvia, people are just too lazy. So yes, that would be my answer.
All right. Emil, you? Elvis, sorry.
Yeah. I would say again, like this laziness contributes to never stopping. Even like when the core value is, even if you reach, let's say everyone like saying, oh, yo, like startup now reached, the biggest Series A, like in all Baltics, yeah, like, but that doesn't stop. Like, there's like no finish line in this. It's like not the sprint that you run 100 meters and you're done, right? And you should understand that even if you reach that, what's the next? Even keeping the same consistency. So, and pushing you from that laziness point, actually, when you think that you reached this, finish and now you can chill, and you still like continue to going, right? So that would be the value that you need to still pursue and bringing more.
Yeah, to achieve your goals. That's correct. Lama, your thoughts about values that would help progressing in a business career?
I think that one is one that you need to keep in mind for either you're starting or you're scaling your career, and also that if you will study here, you will hear a lot about from Claudio, because he's always like, keep to your core and values, and everything else will change. I think staying true to yourself of what do you like, why do you do what you do. Not the money part, not the role part, but why do you do what you do? Do you just want to grow currently to be the best salesperson to start your own business then? Or do you want to communicate with people because you just like to do that? Try to figure out what's the core thing that drives you, and don't be scared to sell that to either employers, to business partners, or so on. Say that I'm in this stage of whatever, but this is my strong core, or so on. So yeah, be aware of what you're good at and where you're heading, and that's also connecting to kind of the consistency part, I think.
All right, Kristaps, your answer to this?
I would also say that discipline would be one of the most important things. Also, removing this laziness, and also, as you mentioned, managing lust and laziness, and don't think that resting is laziness, and because resting is also extremely important. But yeah, and also the second thing I would add is openness to new things in general, as sometimes you don't even know that you like this thing if you have not tried it. So in the beginning, just try different things and see how you feel about them. Yeah.
In the same situation, skills. What skills can help progress in a business career?
100% for me, I would say IT. Like one thing that I've also encountered a lot is that, in work environment, one person with good I know it doesn't even have to be, you know, Python or R programming skill, but it could be just advanced Excel, Microsoft Excel. This one person will do the amount of work that 10 people would not be able to do in the same amount of time. So definitely continuing to improve and, you know, perhaps in 2022 have to say learning neural networks and AI.
Yeah. That would be really valuable.
Just
Yes?
add to you know this IT skills actually led me to think to think about it like smarter way. I'm not sure if this is a skill, but like to open one window, you can like spend, let's say, 10 seconds. So the question is, again, is there a way how I can open the window in 5? And there is actually shortcut, right? So if you master the shortcut, so it means you will save your 5 seconds, right? Imagine like what you can do with these 5 seconds.
You're not talking about like computer program windows. It takes less than 10 seconds.
Yeah. I'm just like giving the analogy that actually the shortcuts that you master in let's say IT is one of the interesting things because it combines with the seconds.
All right.
Yeah, I think
Shortcuts, yes.
To add up the perception of IT, maybe would be like more of my perception, because in business you will always hear it depends. In IT, it's just either it works or it doesn't. So it's good to know the principles of how do I make these processes so that the end result actually works, that it doesn't fail, right? So even if you go through one course, you will be able to figure out those processes, those loops that goes into IT to put that into your management style. And 2 more things that I would say: learn how to manage stress, because so many managers they will just break down, they will scream or yell, and they will be horrible people to work with under stress. So that's like one of the main things right now. I would say it's very, very valuable. And also develop like this feeling of empathy towards your team and towards your employees or whatever, because people are working with people, as I said before. So even if you're going to leave the company, you still can be partners with those people. They still can be your clients or whatever. So work with people, have that empathy for them.
All right. Kristaps, skills in this
Fully
field.
agree with the previous skills, and I would also add, especially in the beginning, when you don't have a lot of things to put into your CV, then actually presentation skills, are like crucial for you, because you can find various ways of just training it at home or different places, just presenting yourself, because when you go to interview, it's like presentation, and you can have a great presentation and get the job even if you do not have a lot of things to put into your CV. Yeah.
And just maybe to add, non-IT, but still relevant to everything. It's like what we encountered. It's like still like speaking, right? So if, let's say, even if you do not have much friends, like peers, then you try to, bring to some interesting atmosphere, like to meet new people. Actually, this is as well new important skill. How you introduce yourself.
Basically, social skills.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Next thing is characteristics. What characteristics of a person is valuable and important while progressing in a business career? How do you think? Top 3 maybe characteristics. It could be from your life, from your experience. Maybe it could be theoretical.
Yeah, I think from my side it was the empathy part. So that's probably the characteristics, not a skill. Can be a skill.
It's both.
Yep.
For some it's characteristics, for some it's the developed skill,
Yeah.
or undeveloped skill at some point.
Definitely the same honesty. Like when you're working with a person, you want them to be honest, so you can trust, and of course loyalty. Yeah, that comes to my mind now.
All right, honesty, loyalty, empathy. Nikita?
Yeah, I would say just the right amount of chill. It just you can get too chill, right? I think that's what I hate about Z generation, or what do you call them, is that we call them swimmers with our friends. It's like they just go along with this. But I think you have to be chill. You have to, as Lama mentioned, be able to deal with stress in a not panicky way. But at the same time, you should always kind of be a bit tight, like to be ready to, go for it. Because if you are too chilled, what I see in modern youngsters, I'm just 24, but I already see a huge gap, is that the chiller you are, the less ambitions you can develop. But definitely a sense of humor, of course, and banter is the holiest thing in the world, and yeah, of course, kindness. Yeah, it's so important that when faced with a choice of being kind to a colleague or to a client, or being harsh and critical, I guess you sometimes have to sacrifice. I would even say truth and honesty, just to make world a slightly better place.
It contradicts a bit what
yes,
you said
know.
before today, but all right.
I know.
You have to be diplomatic as well.
Life is contradictory.
Yeah, okay, of course. Elvis, characteristics from your side?
Stay hydrated.
All right. That's
With
a
water,
habit.
with
That's
water,
a habit. That's a
with
habit.
water,
That's
yeah?
the next thing. That's a habit. Not with that one. No. All right. Habits. Yeah. Can you give some habits?
That was habits.
Yeah.
Huh?
Stay hydrated.
Yeah, actually, staying hydrated is good habit. Then I would say.
He's just going through his old habits.
Yeah.
A lot of habits. A lot of great habits.
Actually, I think it's like the habit is as well the part of routine, and trying to mix different, let's say, try different routines in the morning. Maybe like the first thing you do not go to the shower immediately, but you eat breakfast. So, and try to find what habit and what part of routine in this case works for you. So that's maybe the main thing. Experiment. Yeah, this is the main message here, is that don't put one routine. Try to, I don't know, visit the coffee shop maybe, and got some new ideas, and somehow like that you built, and it's like perfect morning, something.
All right. Nikita, habits from your side, please.
Well, when I was 20, my best university friend asked me a question which at the time seemed completely valid. Now it seems stupid, but I think it relates to the question. So he asked me, do you ever just sit down and think? Because at the time when you are in a university, life seems so fast that I just realized I just never sit still and think. I always was in a rush to do something. And I think that's one of the habits that I'm enjoying in a more adult phase of my life, where I just have time and kind of ability to concentrate is honed enough so that I can just sit still and kind of prioritize things. So perhaps you should do it in the morning to kind of sort things out before you get to them.
So like more reflecting, or you thinking in the future with it, like, or you reflecting with the past, or you thinking?
No, perhaps I'm coming up with a day plan, or I mean, it could be many things. Yeah, I haven't learned to meditate in the end. I think my mind is too feverish. I can't concentrate. But I'm sure you guys do meditate. No?
I do. I have to, because I think a lot and it calms me down.
Okay.
Basically, meditation is one great thing to talk with. It's maybe a different panel, but he talked about breathing. I love these breathing exercises. When you take a deep breath for 10 seconds, then you hold it for 10 seconds, then you breathe it out for 10 seconds, and then you hold it for 10 seconds empty, and then do cycles, and it makes fantastic on your mind and your body. The nervous system, the correct nervous system kicks in, and it just calms you down automatically. It's the small things in our body, biohacking as well in some sense. But yeah, talking about habits, Lama, from your side.
Yeah, I've tried to meditate, but I can't stay still. I'm just like planning all my projects ahead. But I would say work-life balance, not necessarily work, it can be school projects, whatever. Have balance, because what I see in the tech world is that people are burning out, and they just have to either go to the hospital, they have to take months off, and it's super serious, because they've learned this thing to manage stress and adapt to things so well that they don't show it, and then their body just crashes. they have some health issues or something like that. And we've seen it a lot with both within our team and with several organizations that people just need to take time off and they just need to be completely disconnected from everything. And they do have serious health issues afterwards. So it's like, take into consideration either those are morning rituals or they're just, sitting down or whatever. Take some time off. Don't just work. Don't be overachievers all the time, 24/7. So have that kind of balance, whatever it means to you.
Sanity.
Yep.
Actually, just to add, one important habit I would say is that still, like, our generation didn't figure, but only those people who are developing, like, the mobile apps. Just a curious fact here is that the more notifications, why batteries are dying, because if you have notifications turned on, actually your battery will die more. So one of them as well, my habits, and that I told different people, is to move all
Switch
notifications, and your iPhone can last for 2 days. Really, yeah,
Wow.
proven by me, because we worked with mobile applications a lot, and this is one interesting thing that you guys as well were saying. So
I've done it before because it was I was so anxious all the time. It vibrates and ring ring. Who wants me
Yeah, it
now?
takes battery.
Yeah,
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 and
yeah. And
then
no,
you
yeah,
have-
yeah. It takes battery as well. It's like, oh my god, I can't deal with this. But that's a good thing. Please, guys. Yeah, you heard it. You heard it, man. Electricity is not cheap. Yeah.
Save up electricity.
Yeah,
Old man
yeah,
saying,
yeah. Charge it at uni. Don't do it at home. Habits, Kristaps, from your side. How do you think? What can help navigating and progressing in a business career?
I would add to the previous ones, writing things down, like whether there are some tasks or some ideas. Don't try to keep everything in your head, as it takes a lot of your mental capacity, and that's also related to. I see often people trying to just remember everything and just get burned out of the chaos that comes when they can't just consume in their head everything that happens around them. So when you just keep a list of things that you have to do, for example, or ideas, define them, create some structure, because chaos will come anyway at you, I believe, and it's about how prepared you are for it. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about impact. We are getting close to the end of our discussion. It's going to be in less than 15 minutes. So I have two questions about impact. And one thing is clear: the 20s is a time when priority is studies. Yet, due to society and income pressure, young professionals more and more earlier choose to focus on work. What is your opinion on this, and where should be the biggest focus to be devoted to the studies or to the work? Which side do you prefer most? So open question for all of you.
I think combination. Because for example, when you study, there's possibilities for you to have this. For example, at RBS, for me, there was a few internships already, where I already received some feedback. I was aware of whether I would enjoy it or not. So yes, I would say the best would be combination. Of course, at the beginning, studying, I would put a bit more forward. But of course, the practical experience from real work is quite important at the beginning also.
So you're leaning more to
in the middle.
Okay, in the middle. You will be in the middle in this. But I've heard you're leaning a bit more to the work side. But it's okay. It's okay. Lama, what do you think about this? Where should be the biggest focus?
I think it really depends on how the person learns. So some are very, very well aware of everything in school and is taking in the information. Also depends on the industry where you are studying in, working in. Others really do bad in school and just learn by doing. So it really depends on what's best for you and if you can actually afford to sustain education. We're not only talking about bachelor's, but later master's and so on. So I think that definitely in your early 20s, do your bachelor's just so you have that paper. If you are able to do master's right away, do it, because it will just be done, whatever it is, really. It's just 2 years, and because some companies will just look for the paper. However, if you are learning more by doing, and if you don't really want to take master's just for the paper, then just go into the work sphere and do that.
All right, all right. That's like a small roadmap. That's a really good thing. I hope you get these things inside of your notes or something, because as he said, you have to write down things, and it's true. Nikita, I think you know this. You wrote down a lot.
Yeah, no, I write in pen every day. Yeah, I switched from Word document to just pen and paper recently. But so, speaking of education and work, well, I think I've had a changing landscape of opinions in my life, because after 3 or 4 years in university, as I was finishing my undergrad, I realized that that's it, I'm fed up. I want to start producing some value. I want putting the knowledge that I've accumulated to the task. But, and so I was that confident that I don't want to continue education. And now after 2 years of work experience, I realize, well, I guess I've never been happier than during my undergrad. Because of course you don't have money and stuff, but the idea that you are just learning, that you can spend days reading and nurturing your curiosity now seems absolutely idyllic to me. That's why I hope that in October I'm going to the UK again to continue education. But I have strong opinions about masters at the same time. So I've managed to organize my life so that I go on to do PhD immediately after my undergrad, skipping masters. I understand that my advice kind of won't go to many, if not most of people, but I believe that masters quite often, not always, but quite often is a waste of time, because the mode of studying is just like undergrad. You read something for a year, then you produce a dissertation or some project. And you pretty much could do the same on online free courses on edX or Coursera. So I would say that if there is a point to do masters, then only in something completely distant to what you studied before. Or going on to do PhD and focus on something in real detail, which you couldn't do online for free.
All right, thank you. Alice?
Yeah. Actually, I will throw back actually to my as well high school studies and tell you one interesting joke. Is that when I needed to go to Sweden to plant the trees, but the season starts in April, right? So you like April end, but you know that school is usually till May and you need to do everything. So at that point, I needed still to graduate the school, right? So like teachers needed to let. So and how can I do it? And actually I took everything, they gave me like everything. So I did during the March already for the 2 months up front. So meaning you studied for 2 months up front. And then you graduated even faster. So I graduated faster. And then I was thinking, okay, like in this given university, given that I know that this skill that I'm as well learning and actually meeting more people, because for me, let's say primary goal for education, not only gain the knowledge, but meet different people, that I can work, was to participate more in different subjects that, let's say, even university offers during the first iteration, like the first part of your studies. And actually, in this case, I took like almost all the possible free electives that we had to gain the points. And then it basically, the career started earlier than, it would be like the regular thing. So I would say, for me, it was about the learning, about this feeling of the learning, and as well getting, know more people, because different people, different groups, and it's like different interaction. And you still can manage it, even though you might have some small work.
Yeah, it's just to be creative with the system,
Yeah, it's actually everyone develops the system on your own, right? My system will not maybe work for somebody, but if you find something that can help you to start working earlier than you would like to, then you start experiment with the things. But yeah, definitely one advice, if you see that when you start doing both things and one thing and another apparently clashes and there is like a lot of red flags, then I guess you need to decide to be really focused on one thing, because this focus anyways in the job will lead you and help you to be, stay focused on developing something. Yeah.
All right, thank you for this as well. So at the summary, we have to conclude the success formula. Yeah, we need this one. What is your practical advice to young people who are just about to start their career in business and want to quickly progress in them? Maybe we can cross out quickly, maybe, because it's so individual, as we've understood and you guys stated a lot, because everyone is special, so in our ways. But yeah, your practical advice. Nikita, let's start with you.
Well, I'm confident that in early stages you should be shameless. You should apply as much as you can to as many positions as you can. You should diversify your kind of application portfolio maximally, and also kind of don't wait for the system to bring it on the platter for you. Kind of, if you see some workplace, just drop them a speculative application where they don't have a position open, but maybe your personal kind of statement will address them with a personal touch. So yeah, be shameless. It has definitely worked out for me and my friends who've succeeded so far.
All right, thank you for this. That's really good. Kristaps?
I would say try many things and don't be put off by having difficulties, because also in your passion work, for example, there will also be difficulties, and so you would not lose. If you, for example, you try many things and actually one of those is your passion thing, but you was put off only because it was difficult, and all, then just to not lose that passion. Yeah. Sorry, what was the question?
How to go for youngsters who are just about to start their career in business and want to quickly progress in them. Not to lose a passion, yeah, of course. Maybe
get used to difficulties.
All right, it's a practical advice, because everything is not as easy as we would want to it be. Lama, your opinion, your thoughts about success formula?
I would say be confident and believe in yourself, like be proud of yourself, but actually do the work. I can give an example from my side that I started applying to roles at Google probably at high school, because I was like, Google is this super cool company, and they've rejected me like every single time. And I mean, I still had the confidence of I can actually bring something to the company regardless of how big it is when I was like 17. And now, like last year, I made it to Forbes 30 under 30. They still don't hire me, but I still bring in the confidence and the thing that I can bring something to the company, and I'm ready to do the work. So, I mean, regardless of your start, regardless of your profile, believe in what you can do and sell that to whatever makes sense.
All right, thank you. Elvis, your
actually
success formula?
the math. So here is that still like to fail 99 times, it's amazing, because then this 100 will be the success. And this is like all the story about all the business ideas, how they are born, like they are getting rejected. And if you had 99 successes and then there is one failure, you will probably feel that there is you cannot handle this failure. Well, all the things that you've been even like failing, there will be this light spot, and you will learn, and actually you will be stronger with your, let's say, back, and that's at least to me the success formula. So try to search for as well maybe some places where you see that something could fail. Of course, not that monetary, like I don't know, 100 millions and things like that, but still there is plenty of opportunities in small companies. Actually, every day you have new challenge, you fail, you learn, and then success is around the corner. Yeah.
All right. I hope this is encouraging and inspiring for you. 2 hours, it's a long time. Thanks for the oxygen here and the system that keeps us up to the standards. I would say thank you, the audience, for listening and having this for yourselves. I hope this helps you and determines the way you want to live in your life and do things in your life. I would like to say thank you, dear speakers, dear panelists. It was an honor to meet you all here and speak with you, and as well, I took something from you guys as well. I'm inspired. Some things that just was here to remind me to not lose some things I don't know, maybe I put them aside or whatever, but yeah, I've gained a lot today myself. I wanted to invite everyone to the next room. There will be refreshments and the option of networking, and I believe to ask some questions to these people, because unfortunately we ran out of time and the official Q&A part is not going to happen, unfortunately. But personal questions, not like personal questions, but questions tete-a-tete or face-to-face or eyes-to-eyes, it's possible here, and I think they will definitely be more than happy to answer to your all questions. Thank you as well again, RBS, for having me here, and I hope we meet again in next one. Have a fantastic evening and stay hydrated. Thank you guys for this.